So this is part two before I even look at the special for the second time. Just thinking it through my mind about the morphs. So when they actually just became Power Rangers, hey, it happens. That's the new thing that they added into this, which is, hey, I'm cool with it. They got Power Down back. Well, Power Down always been there. The thing I wanted to hear most importantly is back to action. That's what I want to hear come back the most. But let's see. So basically, they did a new background, new backdrop of them doing, yeah, Triceratops, Saber-tooth Tiger, Tyrannosaurus, Pterodactyl, Mastodon. They basically made a new one, and I'm like, do I really prefer that one, or do I prefer what Disney did, since they had so much stuff to rummage through, and they're like, oh, fuck it, let's make a new one. Personally, I still kind of like the new one. I just wish they actually went more in depth into it, but of course, if we're all old school, why in the world would we do something fancy smancy? Because we all actually just like Tiger Zord, boom, there we go, they're a ranger. Instead of actually doing the flashiness that happened later. It's like, when did the flashiness start? Hold on. Shoot. Yeah, hold on one second. When did it start? I think it maximized in Lightspeed Rescue. I think Lightspeed Rescue was the real start of it, but um you did have Lost Galaxy that started it. Yeah, they kind of started it, and they kind of, I guess Disney took heart to what they did, and they were like, oh, well, this is good enough, so yeah, let's do that. And it's like, I could have sworn Mastodon was behind him when he morphed, but apparently not. And I'm like, I could have sworn he was there. I could have sworn he was, but apparently, I guess not. So it gets to a mixed bag where it's like they're catering to you and everyone who actually grew up with them. It's like, yeah, cool, but I'm sorry, I do kind of like the new hotness. In a way, I do like the new hotness, because new hotness is like, wait, what the fuck? Morphin type. And then there he is. He got a freaking suit on. The helmet just goes over his head, and then bam, there we go. And I'm like, I know they did cheap style, and I mean, come on, well, let's look what they did in the movie. It's like, remember what they did in the movie? I think in the movie they just went, they didn't have the sequence. And even when it comes to Turbo, what happened to Turbo? Yeah, Turbo was technically a start to it too. Yeah, Turbo did actually was the precursor for it to change. And then they didn't do it in space. They kind of started it again in like Lost Galaxy, and then they officially did it in Lightspeed Rescue. Yeah, but Time Force didn't do it, did they? Yes, they did. Yes, they did. It's like, okay, so I don't know. It's like, maybe I'm losing my edge, but I'm like, I liked all of them. I've been here for a long while. I kind of do like to have to razzle dazzle, not let's get on with it. It's like, there's always a get on to it point. It's like, yeah, notice that they didn't like, yeah, they weren't like Power Rangers. They didn't do any of that. And it's like, yeah, they cut that part out. It's like, see, they got on with it. So I'm like, well, I guess we could get on with it. But personally, I would have at least liked to actually touch upon what Disney did. I know you might just say, fuck you, but I'm like, for me, I'm like, but dude, I kind of like the new hotness. I would have liked the new hotness to be a little bit more focused on, a little bit more polished, to the point where I'm like, damn, now that's what I call actually being a part of Free Power Rangers. That's what I call a morph. That is what I call making the legacy continue on, and it shines bright. This one, they just said, oh, we're going to go back to the old school. And I'm like, okay, but the sad part is, like, if they kept on doing it, and if Disney was not lazy enough to be like, we got to go to archives and look for his morph, seriously? If they weren't lazy enough and they got it, then it's like, yeah, I have nothing to complain about, because we don't have some of those like shows. Hey, what happens if they bring it a little bit more modern? So we do have that, and I'm like, I kind of like the new hotness, guys. The old hotness is fine. Yeah, the old hotness is okay, but I like new hotness though. It's like I would have liked new hotness to be at least a little bit looked at, you know? But instead, nah. And I'm like, I can get used to it, but I still have to always look back. You know how those freaking photos where it's like, here's the girl, here's the guy, but he's looking back at the girl, the other girl. Same difference. Where it's like, I will look back because I'm like, the what if you would have actually did some good polish and be like, yep, here's the freaking Mastodon, here's the Tyrannosaurus, here's the Zoroark behind them posing with them. It's like, that's freaking awesome. That's freaking damn awesome. But I guess the real thing, and I most likely did put a poll, hopefully, and I'm like, what y'all guys think? You think you're okay with it, or would you prefer actually having Disney's new hotness? Which again, I would have at least like to experiment with that. I would at least like to experiment with that, and I would be okay taking a consolation prize where they're like, okay, well, just for the heck of it, here's Morphs using it a little bit better. Yeah, not zoomed in all the way on the damn power coin. Here's a better version of it that actually is a little bit better. And it's like, that's all I ask. You don't have to do flips and stuff like that. I'm just fine with it actually just, just coming on to them. And then the helmet goes over their head, and then there they are posing with the freaking Zord. That's all I'm asking for. But I know that would actually waste time. But I'm just saying I would just prefer and just notice that morph was fucking quick. That morph was quick as fuck. Like seriously, the morph was quick as fuck. So, anyways, I still dwell.